Okay, so we are re-recording because we did this whole beautiful video. We had our
really
fancy
good.
clothes on, and it got lost in the interwebs. So it's gone. So here we are doing round two. I'm Dr. Saira, and this is Texas Peck.
Hi.
So let's start by telling you a little bit about, maybe you can talk a little bit about yourself, Texas, and what brings you to these videos.
I have a deep compassion and a real heart to see people live their fullest life. And through my journey, through my life, I've always been curious and always thought that there would be more, and that it should be simple and easier. And so going along, there's been a lot of times where I was like, that works, but it's really big.
Mm-hmm. It's really complicated.
Really complicated.
Yeah.
And
like the 2-hour meditations.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing wrong with any of those things, but it's really hard to fit that into life. And
even when we do fit it into life, in the day-to-day moments, right?
And those
sticky moments of life, how do we actually really quickly come back to that state of like peace and balance and inner alignment? Yes. And that's what you've discovered.
Well, and it kind of came through a deep personal journey at about the age of 25 for me. I really got a piece of this, and it was like, okay, this is possible. Mm-hmm. And then there have been many iterations of how that was possible. But we with your help and with the help of the team and with Monique and with the Presence Protocol and all the stuff that we brought forward, we have a nice, simple, not easy, simple way for people to stay in alignment.
So we were on a walk yesterday, and we were talking about our stories, right, and how differently each of us kind of came up in the world. So for Texas, for your first like early days, like your first 10, 15 years of life, you lived really close to the land, right? So your dad was a trapper. You want to tell the story?
So my dad was a trapper and an outfitter and a lookout person. So we spent our life in what would be unbelievable for most people today. Mm-hmm. Because we see these shows about...
It's like camping that never ends.
Yeah, it's like camping that never ends because we weren't going camping. We lived like that, right? So I spent a lot of my time, and I think that two things happen there. You become very responsible for your actions, mm-hmm. right? Because if you make a mistake, you'll die. And my dad was a master at this, mm-hmm. A true master.
You really have to be present.
Right, so he must have told me 10,000 times, you can't get ahead of yourself and don't look back. Mm. And so that...
to survive.
Just to survive.
Right.
So, and then there's also that piece around being a problem solver. Because if you're in that place, whatever is in front of you, you're it. Mm-hmm. So, later in my journey, as I saw people hurting, there was this part of me that is still there. Why couldn't I do something? Mm-hmm. That deep question, what if I'm here and I was placed here, then there must be a solution. And I probably trusted that more than most folks would be able to, right? Yeah.
So really different. And I think...
How about you?
For me, my earliest memory is actually being in a stroller. It must have been about a year and a half, 2 years old. Okay. Being in a stroller in the center of London.
So different.
England. Yeah. So I was born in London, England, in a busy, like in London. Yeah. Like it's busy.
Yeah. I don't know that, but yeah. Thank
you. And people, right? Like so many people all around all the time, and buildings and busyness. And if you've ever been on the London Underground, right? People move fast. Like mm-hmm. It's just like there's so much activity and so much movement. And so my first 5 years were in that context of like just this busy city environment. And for a child who's like really, well, most children are very tuned into their environment, right? And so you have to learn really quickly how to filter things because there's so much coming at you all the time, right? And so I got really attuned, really tuned into my closest loved ones, and that's kind of who I locked into, and everything else became kind of noise, right? And as I've grown, what's really interesting, so I actually want to share this with you. I don't think I've shared this story. So now you all can be part of it. So
this is our process.
A couple of weeks ago was Eid. Right. So the end of Ramadan, and there's a big Eid celebration. And so what I did, and I've been really missing family mm-hmm. since moving out to Blind Bay and being in this little town. And I started realizing that I kind of see the world as like two buckets of people. There's family, and then there's everybody else.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, so and I think that started when I was really little because you had to, right? You kind of like lock into the family, and then there's everybody else. And so in order, and the people who really matter are those who are family. And so what I've done over the years is kind of expand that circle of family and include people, right? So when we first met and when I started feeling really connected to Texas, I invited him to do a Rakhi ceremony with me, which is a ceremony for brothers and sisters in the Indian tradition. And so we did that ceremony, and that, I made you my brother. Right. And so through my life, I've been kind of like expanding my family. And what's happened in the last probably since January is suddenly that thing went from like, this is my family to this is my family to now like all of humanity is my family. Yeah. And so it's a different level of like responsibility and a different level of urgency to get this healing out to help my family.
Which is just bigger. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's I think the impulse and the impetus for like the advanced consciousness and the urgency for advanced consciousness therapy is like we don't want anybody on this planet who's ready for change and it does take some effort. It's not like, like there's emotions that come up, there's past things, memories, but if people are willing to look at that, they can actually have such a transformative experience.
Right. So this just, because we do this, stuff just comes, right? So what I heard when you're saying that, there's an energetic exchange required.
Yeah, right.
There's an energetic exchange. So we're taking energy that in the past worked for our adaptations, and we're using that to open up, right, to more. Yeah. And then that energy can shift and change. So.
And back to that story about Eid. So what happened there was I invited friends in,
right.
And in that event,
which was really cool. It was a really cool event.
And we didn't do anything. We just like sat around like you would with family.
Oh,
we dressed up.
Yeah, we did the dress up
thing. Like we did and we just interacted like family would. Like,
and it was family without the baggage though too.
Right. Like it was just the fun part, right? The celebratory part. Right. If everybody in the family could just adore each other without those expectations and the judgments and the agendas,
right.
That's what the experience was. And what I'm being shown is that we're bringing that, right? We're bringing that experience of belonging to something where you can just really be yourself. And even the like crunchy parts and sticky parts of you, that's okay. It's welcome because we know that's not who you are.
Right. And those things are indicative of something that when it's shifted will become something very beautiful. Right. And so it's exciting to see this grow legs. I've had so much help, and there's so much good stuff coming. Courses, books, all kinds of stuff.
And we're going to be talking about some of it. So in the weeks to come, we'll be talking about, what would it mean to become a practitioner in this modality? What would it mean to be a client and work with a practitioner? What are some of their principles? What are some of the axioms? We'll kind of go through that slowly because it's a lot. Yeah, so we want to like slowly give you these different pieces.
Yeah, and so if you're sitting there today kind of going, well, it's great. What is it? Well, it's too big to just kind of do in a simple thing like this. But stay tuned because we're going to be bringing some of that forward in these, and then there's other places that you can gather information.
So you know the name now. It's Advanced Consciousness Therapy, and we developed it together.
Yeah. So stay with us and grow and learn
and hear all our stories.
Yeah, because we have fun too.
Thanks for joining. Guys. Bye.
Bye.